one night. Got you that.
Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer, had done the unthinkable. He backed out of a fight with the legendary Mike Tyson. Floyd Mayweather didn't just roast him for it, he delivered a message that shook the boxing community. How did a street fight lead to one of the most talked about moments in boxing? And what exactly did Floyd say that left everyone buzzing? So here's what went down. Jake Paul, the YouTube sensation turned boxer, was all set to step into the ring with the legendary Mike Tyson. People were buzzing about it, right? I mean, it was the talk of the town. But then, out of nowhere, Jake pulls the plug on the fight. Yup, he quit. Can you believe it? This wasn't just some minor fight. It was supposed to be an epic showdown. Tyson, the former undisputed heavyweight champion, against Jake Paul, the guy who's been making waves in the boxing world by taking on various celebrities and former fighters. The hype was real. As soon as the news broke, the boxing community went wild. Fans and pros alike were not happy. Floyd Mayweather, for one, didn't hold back. He roasted Jake hard for backing out, calling him out for not being able to handle the heat. And remember, Floyd isn't just any boxer. He's one of the greatest of all time. His words carry weight. Then, you had Mike Tyson himself throwing shade. Tyson's known for his brutal honesty, and he didn't mince words. He basically said Jake had no chance against him, highlighting how Jake couldn't even knock out lighter guys like Nate Diaz and Anderson Silva. Tyson made it crystal clear. Stepping into the ring with a heavyweight legend is a whole different ball game. The boxing legends didn't hold back their opinions. Lennox Lewis, another heavyweight great, straight up said he didn't want to see Jake get hurt. Lewis knows what it's like to face someone like Tyson, having beaten him in the past. He cautioned Jake against diving into something he couldn't handle.
See, raw meat. He goes, "You're eating raw meat?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm eating raw meat." He goes, "Because that's what I'm gonna eat when I fight. I'm gonna eat him."
Joe Rogan, the UFC commentator, also chimed in. He had a chat with Tyson and shared how intense Tyson's preparation was, the guys eating raw meat for crying out loud. Rogan's point? Tyson's in savage mode and Jake should be scared. Then there's Michael Bisping, the former UFC champ. He didn't mince words either. Bisping emphasized that boxing isn't a game you play around with. It's deadly serious and people get hurt. He was pretty blunt, saying Jake's lack of respect for the sport could get him seriously injured. After the dust settled from the brawl, Floyd didn't waste any time roasting Jake Paul. He went all in, calling Jake out for biting off more than he could chew. Floyd's known for his trash talk, and he didn't hold back. He criticized Jake's decision to step into the ring with someone like Mike Tyson, saying Jake was way out of his league.
Yeah, come on, Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. I like that shit. Yeah. Hey, I hope y'all keep that same energy when I knock this old man the fuck out.
Floyd's words hit hard because, let's face it, he's one of the greatest boxers ever. When Floyd Mayweather tells you you're not ready, you better listen. He made it clear that Jake was making a huge mistake and that he was setting himself up for a major embarrassment. But here's the thing. Floyd wasn't just trash-talking for the sake of it. He actually had some sincere advice for Jake. After roasting him, Floyd switched gears and offered some genuine words of wisdom. He advised Jake to think carefully about what he was getting into. Floyd told him not to get involved in something he couldn't handle. It was like he was saying, "Look, kid, I know you want to prove yourself, but you're not ready for this." Floyd's advice came from a place of experience. He knows the dangers of the sport and the kind of preparation and mindset it takes to face someone like Mike Tyson. He was trying to give Jake a reality check, urging him to understand the seriousness of what he was attempting. From Floyd's perspective, Jake Paul wasn't ready for a fight of this magnitude. He saw Jake's bravado as a mix of overconfidence and inexperience. Floyd's been in the ring with some of the toughest fighters in the world, and he knows what it takes to compete at that level. To him, Jake was just playing at being a boxer without fully grasping the risks involved. Floyd's view was that Jake needed to respect the sport more. Boxing isn't just about fame and fortune. It's about discipline, training, and understanding your limits. Floyd could see that Jake was jumping into the deep end without knowing how to swim. He wanted to make sure Jake understood the gravity of facing a heavyweight legend like Tyson. First up, Mike Tyson himself. Tyson's known for his no-nonsense attitude, and he didn't sugarcoat his feelings about Jake Paul. Tyson basically called out Jake, saying he didn't have what it takes to face a heavyweight legend. He pointed out that Jake struggled to knock out lighter, less experienced fighters like Nate Diaz and Anderson Silva. Tyson's message was clear. If you can't handle those guys, you've got no business stepping into the ring with me. Tyson's remarks were brutal but honest. He emphasized the huge gap in experience and skill between Jake and himself. Tyson even mentioned that Jake wouldn't stand a chance of knocking him out, highlighting the difference between fighting lighter opponents and facing a heavyweight powerhouse. It was a wake-up call for Jake and a reminder to everyone about Tyson's legendary status in the boxing world. Next, we've got Lennox Lewis, another heavyweight legend. Lewis was more concerned about Jake's safety than anything else. He straight up said he didn't want to see Jake get hurt. Coming from a guy who's faced and beaten top fighters like Evander Holyfield and Tyson himself, that's some serious advice. Lewis knows the dangers of the sport and wanted to make sure Jake understood the risk he was taking. Joe Rogan, the UFC commentator and podcast host, also had some thoughts. After talking with Tyson, Rogan highlighted Tyson's intense preparation. The guy's eating raw meat, for crying out loud. Rogan described Tyson as being in savage mode, fully committed, and ready to unleash his full potential. Rogan's message was clear. Jake Paul should be terrified. Tyson's mindset and preparation were on another level, and Rogan emphasized the psychological warfare aspect of boxing. It's not just about physical readiness, it's also about mental toughness. Michael Bisping, the former UFC middleweight champion, didn't hold back either. Bisping has always been known for his blunt honesty, and he called out Jake for not respecting the sport. He pointed out that boxing is deadly serious. People can get seriously hurt or even die. Bisping's main gripe was that Jake seemed to treat boxing like a part-time hobby, not realizing the real risks involved. He made it clear that boxing demands respect and commitment, something he felt Jake lacked. Chad Dawson, a retired pro boxer and former light heavyweight champion, echoed similar sentiments. Dawson focused on Tyson's power, even at his age. He warned that if Jake provoked Tyson, the consequences could be dire. Tyson's punches are still powerful enough to cause serious damage, and Dawson emphasized that Jake wasn't prepared for that kind of raw, natural power. Dawson's point was that Tyson's strength and experience were leagues ahead of what Jake had ever faced, and one wrong move could end disastrously for Jake.
He's in savage mode right now. He's in savage mode. If I was Jake Paul right now, I would be shitting my pants.
High-stakes fights aren't just about who can throw the hardest punches. It's also a battle of the minds. Boxers use mind games to get into their opponent's head, throwing them off their game before they even step into the ring. This can involve everything from trash talk to intense stare-downs at press conferences. Jake Paul is known for his bravado and trash talking, which he used to build hype and get under his opponent's skin. But when you're up against someone like Mike Tyson, psychological tactics take on a whole new level. Tyson is a master of intimidation. His very presence can be enough to unsettle even the most confident fighters. The psychological pressure of facing a legend like Tyson is immense. It's not just about the fight itself, but also about handling the fear and anxiety that come with it. This guy doesn't just train hard, he goes all out, embracing a primal and intense approach to get into peak fighting condition. One of the wildest aspects of his prep is his raw meat diet. That's right, Tyson eats raw meat as part of his training regime. Why raw meat? Well, it's not just about the physical benefits, it's a psychological tactic too. Eating raw meat signifies a return to primal instincts, tapping into raw, natural energy. It's about stripping away modern comforts and embracing a savage, warrior-like mentality. Tyson's diet is a statement. He's not just preparing to fight, he's preparing to dominate. He's in what Joe Rogan calls savage mode, fully committed to unleashing his primal power in the ring. Finally, let's talk about the real risks of facing someone like Mike Tyson. Tyson's reputation as one of the most formidable heavyweights in boxing history isn't just for show. Even at 57, Tyson's punches are legendary. He's known for his incredible knockout power and aggressive fighting style. Stepping into the ring with Tyson means facing a fighter who can end the match with a single punch. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.